Jerusalem. 20 years have I been with the Saracens.
The enemy base is formidable. I advise building defenses until we have a large army.
Shots from our bows really miss their mark.
The Jerusalem mission is the most fun one in the Saladin campaign. We are tasked to destroy 5 towers to assert dominance over the city, but there are many places we can attack before that. The Hospitallers to the west use knights, Teutonic knights, and scorpions, a formidable army. The Teutonics in the east have rams, knights, and swordsmen, less dangerous but still lethal. Jerusalem itself is huge and very strongly walled, with defenders constantly counter-attacking with monks, mangonels, and crossbowmen. Despite these 3-to-1 odds, Saladin likes his chances and will even opt to not advance to the Imperial Age, as the Teutons and Hospitallers don't. We will give the Crusaders a fair fight and not rely on technological superiority to win. There are a lot of sheep to gather, which we can do with our starting forces. Our starting forces are enough to prevent the enemy from contesting the sheep, and even overwhelm the Hospitallers before they build anything, but we shall give Hospitallers time and space to have an army. Saladin believes in the righteousness of his cause and does not go for premature wins. While a walled city hints that we should bet on siege weapons, taking Jerusalem by force is not what we intend. Jerusalem has many mining and lumber camps outside the city, which are unprotected and which we can raid. The map is also extra large, so defenders will take a long time to respond to raids. The enemy's army, while large, is also slow-moving. They cannot beat us if they cannot even engage us. Our first order of business is therefore to scout all those unprotected points before we raid. We will send our light cavalry to do it.
نعم.
حسناً. نعم. أمر. نعم. سأفعل. بناءة.
Raiding can be done by many units, but the fastest way is the scout line. Scouts, which can be upgraded to light cavalry, are the speediest troops in the world. They have high pierce armor which allows them to shrug arrow fire. And although their stats are not the best and they lose to knights one-on-one, they also cost half the price. We get what we pay for, and we don't want to pay for much because cheaper means faster and less villagers invested in the rush. Additionally, light cavalry have conversion resistance, so we can snipe the enemy's monks. Jerusalem sends many monks, and their monasteries are forbidden to destroy. We invest in these cheap horses so that the enemy cannot gain much even if they successfully convert them. Losing a knight to conversion is devastating, as we are now down not just one knight, but the enemy also gained one. This is not the same for scouts, which are throwaway units Jerusalem can't really use, even if they had some. Unlike Jerusalem, our base will be properly closed up and defended from raids. Scouts do not cost gold and only food, so villagers can concentrate on nothing but food for the initial economy. The bountiful sheep give a massive food boost, then we can also hunt the deer for more fast food, before finally transitioning to a lot of farms. Naturally, Saladin will open with 2 stables, one to train scouts, and another to upgrade them to light cavalry. The enemy can defeat them if they can catch them, but we can just run around the 4 corners of the map. Wasting all their time chasing our scouts also has a secondary effect of protecting our base. The 3-to-1 means Jerusalem, the Hospitallers, and the Teutons have a good chance of destroying our camp, even if we build castles. But they will be so busy with our raids that they cannot push. We will secure our safety via distraction.
نعم. سأفعل. نعم. حسناً.
These archers of the eye are hero units that have amazing stats. Using them offensively will feel like cheating, so Saladin will only employ them on the defense of the back line. There is a knight standing guard outside the Hospitaller camp. We don't want it to notice our light cavalry when they raid, so we'll distract it and lure it to our base so that our Mamluks will kill it.
نعم. بناء.
سأفعل.
أمر حسنا. بناءة.
أمرك. مستعد. نعم. مستعد. نعم. القتال. أمرك. نعم.
نعم. بناءة.
Our scouts have been upgraded to light cavalry and are ready to begin their first raid now. While we could build our stables forward and closer to the enemy, they run so quickly that this doesn't matter. Teutonic knights have high melee armor and shrug off shots from Mamluks. A single one can also beat more than 20 scouts. We need to use archers of the eye to kill them. Teutonic knights' weakness is their melee range slow speed, which makes them vulnerable to massed arrow fire while they chase a scout they cannot catch. For our first raid, we will go for Jerusalem's lumber camp. It's on the far side, so we need some time to reach it, but going to the other side also forces the enemy to send defenders backwards and far away from our economy. They will then need to travel twice the distance on foot if they want to actually attack us. This is a lot of time lost, so Saladin will boom safely at home and can focus on food to train even more light cavalry. The Hospitallers have intercepted our raid and will do some damage to our light cavalry, but we will ignore the provocation and continue to the target. If they send their scorpions and knights chasing, their own base will be left open and we can raid it next.
أمر. سيادة. مستعد أفعل. سيادة.
مستعد. بناء. بناء.
Normally husbandry is a tech to skip, but since much of our game plan hinges on speed, we will boost our light cavalry's speed as much as we can. Already, they have reached Jerusalem's lumber camp and will pick off a few villagers. The Hospitallers either did not follow or were too slow to catch up. The lumberjacks are dead. Our light cavalry can stay and destroy this lumber camp. But it takes too long, so we will raid the farms next and pick off even more vills. Meanwhile, a second batch of light cavalry is ready and they will also head to the lumber camp. Jerusalem, thinking it is safe, might send new lumberjacks to this location, not realizing we will be back with new raids.
بناءة.
أمر. بناء.
نعم. بناءة.
نعم. بناء. بناء. بناء.
We don't actually need many houses to reach the population limit, but building more is harmless in case any get destroyed by Teutonic. Later in the mission, we can even add a layer of walls to these houses for even more protection, although this shouldn't be needed if we can keep the enemy busy with our raids. Jerusalem is trying to defend with monks, which our light cavalry automatically counter.
مستعدة. بناءة.
مستعد. بناء. أمر.
نعم. بناءة. مستعدة. بناءة. مستعدة. مزارعة.
نعم. بناء.
أمر.
مستعد. بناء. بناء. بناء.
The city is ours. Your efforts are futile.
A large force of crossbows have showed up to repel our raid. But now we can be annoying by pulling the horses to the corner of the map to pull Jerusalem's army into the middle of nowhere.
نعم. مستعدة.
Meanwhile, yet another batch of light cavalry are ready to march, and these concussive waves will keep battering the opponent's economy till they cannot even afford to train units. And then we win.
أهلا. ألو. بناء.
نعم. بناءة.
مستعد. بناء. 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 بناء.
Light cavalry have high line of sight and good auto-targeting, so once we set the raid point, we don't have to spend much attention babysitting them. Saladin will instead seed more farms to train even more light cavalry. Dealing with them is the enemy's problem. We would like to start raiding the Hospitallers, but they have plenty of defensive knights. So one of our option is to draw the enemy knights away using a batch of light cavalry, and then hit the unprotected villagers with a second batch. That way the superior stats of the knight line doesn't matter, their stronger unit can't engage, while our weaker units are finding kills and doing damage to their economy. And since light cavalry do not cost gold, we've been able to postpone gold mining up till now, when we finally assign some villagers to gold. This will let us grant blacksmith upgrades to our scouts, as well as train Mamluks, who will counter their knights. Raiding the enemy gold supply will reduce the number of knights they can train. Eventually, Saladin hopes to weaken the enemy by so much that the few knights they have get overwhelmed even by a small force of Mamluks. The Hospitaller knights seem to have been pulled away to chase an earlier batch of light cavalry. So now their base is just defended by scorpions, which our next wave can easily kill. These slow-moving siege weapons are only effective in bulk. And they cost quite a fair bit of gold, so destroying them hurts the Hospitallers further.
صحيح. مستعدة. بناءة.
Every time we look at these scouts, there's a new batch ready to raid yet another spot. Jerusalem must be terrified, we appear to be everywhere at once.
أمرك مستعد. نعم سأفعل.
نعم. مستعدا. بناء.
أمر. بناءة.
أمرك مستعد. نعم حسنا.
The Teutons, which we haven't touched all mission, have launched one of the rare attacks an enemy makes to our actual camp. We cannot keep ignoring the Teutons, and we'll have to start including them in raids at some point.
الهجوم.
نعم. بناء.
To defend our base, this castle location is ideal as it occupies the high ground and is surrounded by cliffs on two sides, making it hard for the Teutons to push with rams. We can also surround it with stables streaming light cavalry, which can easily deal with rams.
مستعدة. بناءة.
Our light cavalry has been very annoying, but not lethal, at 2 stables. Increasing the production to 5 stables will create an even bigger mass and even larger headaches for Jerusalem. While the Hospitaller Knights are stronger, our light cavalry are cheaper and therefore we have more horses in total. Quantity has a quality of its own and we actually beat these knights with numbers. Light cavalry, with their speed and fierce armor, are actually quite good against crossbowmen.
مستعد.
Our castle is nearly finished. Once it's up, our base is more secure and we can train Mamelukes. Mamelukes are expensive, but we've saved up a lot of gold early by not using a gold army. The Hospitallers seem to have lesser knights now. The raids are starting to reduce their food supply, which is needed to train knights. Meanwhile, our stables have increased to 5, so we have even more light cavalry than before. That's a nice group of knights you have there. It'll be a real shame if they were chasing one group of scouts across the map and all your villagers are dead because another group of scouts got them. As the Hospitallers scramble to deal with the raid, Saladin's real army approaches, with enough power and bonus damage to counter knights. Saladin has left the Yellow Teutons untouched this whole mission. It's time to pay them a visit to give them the same scout treatment.
نعم. القتال. مستعد. أمرك. مستعد. نعم.
Our advantage is quickly snowballing.
حسنا. نعم.
The Teutons are surprised by our raid. They don't seem to have many military at home to counter it. Perhaps their army was on their way to assist the Jerusalem or Hospitaller allies, or even our base, but they left their homes unprotected. The Teutons do have a lot of towers, which we might break with a forward siege workshop and some rams.
سأفعل. نعم.
أمر حسنا.
Meanwhile, our assault on the Hospitallers is continuing, and it seems like they have no capacity left to train military. Their farms are constantly idled and their miners cannot take gold safely, so the Hospitallers can no longer afford knights, which would be hard countered by knights anyway. The only way to save this situation is to send infantry Teutonic knights, but that costs even more food and gold than regular knights.
Wouldn't your kind prefer to wander in the desert rather than waste our time?
We will replicate the siege workshop on this side to break their town center and spear it entirely. We finally see the Teuton army and they are furious about our raid. It looks like we have to abandon the plan of ramming down their towers. As the Teutons field heavy infantry and heavy cavalry, our light cavalry cannot win this fight head-on. Their eco was untouched all missions, so they can afford serious units, unlike the Hospitallers. While the Hospitallers themselves are now defenseless, Jerusalem has showed up to reinforce their ally. We can fight them, but Saladin thinks it is unnecessary. We will instead lure them back to the far side of the map by shifting to the farms and gold mines. Jerusalem is forced to follow or they will lose villagers. This will leave the Hospitallers defenseless again to further light cavalry raids. Our siege workshop is down and we are almost ready for the final push. Once we have 3 rams out, the Hospitallers will lose their town center. We can see that Jerusalem did not follow and protected the Hospitallers instead. But this is still good for us as their reinforcements don't trade well versus light cavalry.
أمر.
We have cleaned up the reinforcements and the Hospitallers are now on their last legs. Their few remaining villagers are boarded up in the town center, hoping the arrow fire will deter us. But they don't know about the incoming rams. We will take some damage eating the town center fire, but that's okay as our rams will arrive soon. It seems like the Hospitallers have finally managed to get a single Teutonic knight. Powerful in high melee armor, it is someone our troops cannot deal with. But there's only one of him. We may have chosen to send the next waves in the other direction, to raid the Teutons, but Saladin wanted to guarantee the Hospitallers' defeat. The best kind of kill is overkill. The Hospitallers don't resign even if we totally destroy their base, as they still have a castle inside Jerusalem city. Saladin just want to make sure they have no villagers left to rebuild. Meanwhile, our force of Mamluks seem to have killed all of Jerusalem's farmers, and Jerusalem has no army to respond. It seems like the raids on their eco are starving them of resources, too. Reinforcements from the Teutons have arrived, but it's too late to save the Hospitallers. Their villagers have all died, and their production buildings have no resources to train military. Jerusalem is also very low on resources, having taken multiple raids throughout the mission. The Teutons are now the last enemy to have any significant military to counter Saladin. Therefore Saladin can now fully focus on the Teutons, and their defensive towers are no deterrents to our light cavalry, with its high pierce armor. Our rams can slowly tread along to finish off Jerusalem's very badly damaged mills and mining camps.
مستعد القتال أمرك سأفعل الهجوم.
The Teuton mining camp is defenseless while their army rode out to counter us. Easy prey for more raids. In our own base, their rams arrived, but unescorted by military. They get picked off by the Mamluks we kept at home.
نعم حسنا أمرك هجوم.
We don't expect pushing against Jerusalem's fortified walls with just one ram to work, but Saladin just wants to test Jerusalem's defensive response. Let's see if they have truly run out of resources yet.
مستعد نعم نعم سأفعل مستعد نعم أمرك الهجوم هجوم.
نعم بناءة.
أمر مستعد. نعم سأفعل. حطاب حطاب.
نعم أمر. نعم نعم مستعد. أمر حسن مستعد سأفعل. نعم
مستعدة. نعم بناءة.
نعم حسنا القتال مستعد. نعم سأفعل. حسنا أمرك سأفعل. حسنا نعم نعم. الهجوم. القتال. سأفعل. نعم. حسنا. مستعد. سأفعل.
نعم. بناء حطاب.
سأفعل. حسنا. نعم نعم. حسنا. هجوم. أمرك. مستعد. نعم.
We prefer not to fight in front of this town center as it shoots arrows. Much better to fight in front of their gold mines so that the Teutons can't take gold while also losing troops.
نعم. هجوم.
With Mamluks backing up our light cavalry, Saladin now beats the Teutons in a straight fight. Once they bleed out there will be nothing left and we can take their base.
نعم. أمرك. نعم. نعم. الهجوم. نعم. مستعد. نعم. سأفعل. نعم. أمرك. هجوم. مستعد. قتال. حسنا. نعم. أمرك. هجوم. القتال. نعم.
Saladin destroyed the Teuton town center, but the Teutons have villagers scattered across the map. Finding them one by one and clearing the towers will be busy work. We want to wrap this up quickly to finally enter Jerusalem.
مستعد. الهجوم. أمرك. سأفعل. نعم. حسن. أمرك. نعم. حسن. نعم. سأفعل. نعم نعم. مستعد. حسنا. سأفعل. نعم. أمر. نعم. القتال. مستعد. حسنا. سأفعل.
We are looking for all of the Teutons roaming villas, but it's sad to say we couldn't locate them all. The Teutons will rebuild after all the beatings we have given them.
نعم نعم. أفعل.
أهلا. ألو. حسنا.
They will even manage to reach the same population pre-raid and have their army of knights back, but as their new base is far away and in a spot we did not check, we did not realize it until the capture of Jerusalem. Their army never threatened us again, so Saladin wrongly assumed the Teutons were dead. Preparations are being made now for Saladin's grand entrance into Jerusalem itself. As we chose not to advance to the Imperial Age, we will have to settle for Castle Age realms. Jerusalem finally reached the Imperial Age, much later than it would usually do without the raids. Also, they supposedly train cataphracts, but with their golds denied and wood and food starved, we didn't see a single one in the entire campaign.
Launch a counterattack!
أمر.
حسنا. بناءة. مستعدة.
This message is usually sent 20 minutes earlier if Jerusalem's eco is untouched. It's also normally backed up by both Hospitallers and Teutons sending a massive army. However, the Hospitallers are all but spent and the Teutons are now pacified farmers just content with rebuilding. Jerusalem's counter-attack is a pathetic force and crossbows and monks are light cavalry has been dominating all year long. Mistakenly believing the Teutons are taken out, Saladin ordered plans for rams and the taking of Jerusalem city. From the Hospitaller camp we would drop a castle aggressively and break in. From the Teuton camp we will use our army. Rams will close in from both directions for the 5 towers. The map is huge enough to hide 40 Teutons who also never made any more appearances during our siege of the city. We should have realized the Teutons had an economy again as they are training new units, but Saladin wrongly attributed this to stray remnant soldiers.
نعم حسنا.
مستعد. أمر حسنا. نعم سأفعل. نعم الهجوم مستعد القتال حسنا نعم القتال أمرك هجوم نعم الهجوم أمرك سأفعل نعم حسنا مستعد.
To get past the population cap, the hero archers were ordered to suicide. They have seen very little action this whole campaign anyway, as their job was to guard Saladin's base, which was attacked very rarely.
سأفعل مستعد أمرك نعم سأفعل
أمر مستعدة. نعم
صحيح.
Jerusalem still has some defenders, but this will be their last batch of troops before their resources run out. They stand no chance against the two-pronged attack Saladin will be launching soon.
مستعد سأفعل نعم حسنا نعم الهجوم
Our light cavalry can deal with these defenders easily, but if Jerusalem's Mangonel stays inside the walls and shuts the gate, it's another story.
مستعد سأفعل حسنا نعم سأفعل
We found ourselves unable to make any progress on this front. The Mangonel deals too much damage for us to commit rams to the gate, and our melee horses cannot get to it.
هجوم
However, the Hospitaller front is more successful. Although we committed insufficient villagers to it, the mere threat of a castle drop is enough to force the eastern Mangonel to move westwards, abandoning the defense on the other side and letting our army break in.
الهجوم
After a short ram v ram scuffle, we finally started ramming Jerusalem's eastern gate. Despite the castle fire, rams have such high fierce armor that it is a piece of cake.
أمر سأفعل نعم مستعد نعم حسنا نعم سأفعل هجوم نعم حسنا نعم أمر الهجوم نعم
Jerusalem reached the other side after a long walk and took out our castle builders one by one. We should have started construction with more men.
أهلا
سأفعل.
ألو
بناءة.
Jerusalem's defensive Mangonel can't range our last working villager without exiting the gates, but doing so will let our light cavalry snipe it. Therefore, with the crossbows killed, Jerusalem is forced to watch in horror as Saladin's castle goes up, even before the next batch of villagers arrive to continue building. On the eastern front, our rams successfully broke through the gate and are chewing through Teuton buildings, even their defensive castle.
مستعد هجوم أمر القتال
نعم مرمم
With our castle up, we can ram the walls, castle, and bombard tower without fear of Jerusalem's defenders. Our castle immediately shows its power by destroying Jerusalem's last hope, their defensive Mangonel.
نعم نعم أمر الهجوم نعم مستعد هجوم
Meanwhile, more and more rams are being trained, and moving past the breach in Jerusalem's eastern walls.
حسنا. بناءة.
أهلا مرمم ألو
نعم مرممة.
نعم أمر مستعد الهجوم أمر القتال
Jerusalem has 4 towers remaining.
مستعد نعم نعم القتال أمرك نعم الهجوم
On the eastern front, everything is going well as we continue to pour in through the breach, and Saladin's rams are even targeting one of their 2 town centers.
أمرك نعم نعم سأفعل نعم
Jerusalem has 3 towers remaining. Remember, my lord, do not allow any place of worship to be destroyed.
The Hospitallers get a sudden infusion of donations and are suddenly able to train Teutonic knights, despite being unable to afford an army all game. This allows them to put up resistance against our rams, pushing our forces back and preventing a breakthrough in the western front.
مرمم
نعم مرممة.
Saladin was forced to pull back the battering rams and repair them before continuing the push.
مستعد سأفعل.
Meanwhile, the forward castle we put up slaughtered all the new Teutonic knights entering the battlefield.
حسنا هجوم نعم سأفعل
While progress in the western front was delayed, it's still smooth sailing on the east. Saladin's rams encountered no pushback, no defensive army, as we rammed towards the bombard tower in the city center.
الهجوم. نعم حسن. سأفعل. نعم سأفعل. نعم نعم. مستعد. نعم.
We found panicking civilians running helter-skelter in the streets of Jerusalem.
Jerusalem has 2 towers remaining.
The center fell without any resistance. Our rams split in 3 directions, going for the 2 towers in the north and the final town center. This was a bit risky as we did not have sufficient army to escort all the rams, but the gamble paid off as the defenders sent no army in defense. The Hospitallers managed to train 2 more Teutonic knights before their castle went down. Even just these 2 units are stronger than our entire army of light cavalry, but fortunately, they are so slow that it would take a long time for them to hurt us or to kill our rams. We managed to lure the remaining Teutonic knights to our castle and let arrow fire do the rest. The rams we sent to one of the towers were apparently too scared to do so, running away despite our orders and preferring to ram the other one, which was already oversaturated with rams. These dumb units don't understand that they are tanks and that arrow fire is no threat.
Jerusalem has 1 tower remaining.
مستعد. الهجوم. نعم القتال. نعم حسن. هجوم.
Still, we managed to finally talk some sense into the rams after a tower fell. The rest of our rams went for Jerusalem's own castle, but its destruction was unnecessary for the capture of our city.
مستعد. الهجوم. نعم. مستعد. نعم. سأفعل. القتال. نعم. نعم.
All Jerusalem towers destroyed. The city is ours.
We did not have the time to destroy this castle, and the Teutonic knights showed up to kill our rams there, but Jerusalem is ours anyway, since all their towers are now fallen.
The last time I entered Jerusalem, as a crusading knight, I waded through the blood of victims. This time, not a building was looted, not a townsperson was injured. Saladin set free nearly every prisoner he took.
Not exactly true, as we butchered and raided a lot of villagers to accomplish this mission, but Saladin gets the credit for winning.